Brandis, a massive energy bill became law this week, and among other things, it aims to get Illinois carbon-free within the next few decades. Meanwhile, Illinois COVID vaccination rates slow as the Delta variant is still surging, and the legislature's veto session is coming up in just about a month. Joining us to talk about all of that and more is Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch. Thanks so much for joining us, Speaker. About, 9 months into the job or so?
Actually, just a little over 8 months, and boy, has it gone quickly.
Hasn't it ever? Plenty going on there. Let's start with that energy legislation. Now, it puts Illinois again on the path to eliminating all fossil fuels, and that is something that environmentalists certainly are celebrating, getting to tackle global warming. But that, of course, is going to cost consumers, including having them send some $700 million to a highly profitable corporation, Exelon, and one, by the way, that has a subsidiary that has admitted to a bribery scheme that actually involves your predecessor. So how do you justify that cost to a consumer who's going to be soon looking at an electric bill with all of these new fees?
Amanda, this is a historic moment for Illinois. You know, it is really something about our children and our children's children and the future of this great state. You know, and one of the things that did occur was that the governor's office asked Exelon to open up their books, and Exelon did do that. And the governor's office did an independent investigation into Exelon's finances and found that the $700 million is a reasonable number. We know that a path to clean energy, to a carbon-free Illinois, has to include nuclear energy. It was so important to have a path toward clean energy and include nuclear energy that the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, called me today to congratulate us on what a wonderful job we did with this historic nation-leading bill. And we should be proud of this. And the fact that we had to provide subsidies was an important step in getting to 100% carbon-free by 2045.
Briefly, did Secretary Granholm say anything about any additional federal help coming for nuclear plants?
Well, she did say that what we did here in Illinois is certainly going to be a start of something good. And hopefully that definitely means something is on the way from the federal government. She didn't specify, but she definitely believes that what we did here was going to lead the way to other good things happening across the country. And I'm proud of that fact.
Speaker, let's move on to redistricting. The legislature had to redo the first set of maps signed into law for new state, House, and Senate district. And by the way, did so over concerns from good government groups, also leaders of communities of color. Let's take a listen.
And we simply don't have enough reassurances that communities of color have had their voting rights respected in this bill that's before you all today. And that's especially the case for Black voters who are deeply affected by this map proposal and whose districts have experienced important demographic changes and also mapping changes that are coming down onto these communities as the repercussions of these maps.
You have said that these new maps reflect Illinois' diversity. If that is the case, why is the Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund suing the state of Illinois over them? Also, the Latino Policy Forum calling for the governor to veto.
Well, let me say this, Amanda, and I can tell you we believe we got it right. The matter is in court and being litigated, and we do believe that the maps will be upheld. We believe that these maps truly do reflect the great diversity of the state of Illinois. These maps were only passed by the General Assembly after extensive hearings by our redistricting committee. We had over 50 hearings on these committees back in the spring, and then we did additional hearings in the summer when we were back in August. We received significant input on these maps, and I'm proud of the diversity that's reflected in these maps. In fact, nation-leading experts say that our maps are a model for diversity representation, and I'm really proud of that. And I do believe what we did will be upheld in court. Those organizations that you've mentioned have sued on prior maps and lost, and I believe that they're going to be unsuccessful this time around as well.
All those hearings, by the way, held before the final version of the maps was unveiled and voted on. Now let's move on to COVID. In late July, President Joe Biden spoke about ways to increase COVID vaccination rates. Here he is.
I'm calling on all states and local governments to use funding they have received, including from the American Rescue Plan, to give $100 to anyone who gets fully vaccinated. I know the paying people to get vaccinated might sound unfair to folks who've gotten vaccinated already. But here's the deal. If incentives help us beat this virus, I believe we should use them.
Isn't a $100 incentive to those who have not yet received the vaccine something that Illinois should do?
I think we should try anything that'll work. I mean, we have tried incentives here in Illinois. We passed beer and a shot legislation during the spring. The governor and his team rolled out the vaccination lottery, and folks have won lottery prizes for getting vaccinated. I think we need to do everything we can as leaders in the government to encourage people to get vaccinated.
What does that look like now? Does that include mandates for all state employees?
Well, I mean, I support the governor's executive orders. I do believe what the governor is doing is his best attempt to try to keep Illinois healthy. We're starting to see hospitalizations flatten because of his executive orders. So I do support what the governor is trying to do here. We see in the southern part of the state where they don't have an ICU bed because they're not getting vaccinated and they're not wearing masks. We know if you follow the science that masks work and that the vaccine works. So I support the governor's efforts and what he's trying to do to keep Illinois safe.
So it seems like a maybe on the $100. It's not something that you're advocating for, but a possibility. Is that accurate?
Well, I think incentives work, and if that's something that we should do, we should take a look at it.
Now, you're also a former college athlete, and the Bears are considering moving the stadium to Arlington Heights. Illinois could be asked to give the team money to stay at Soldier Field. What are your thoughts? Would you support that?
I think it's a little premature right now. I certainly think that we have some more pressing things to consider right now, other than the Bears possibly moving to Arlington Heights. I am a Bears fan. I'm definitely hoping that they stay here in the state of Illinois because I'm a Bears fan. But whether or not the General Assembly should give them money for something that is an if, maybe, it's way premature to have those discussions.
And just briefly, Speaker, because I know we're running very short on time, you said there's a lot of other priorities. What is your top priority? We've got about a month before the General Assembly returns to Springfield for veto session.
Well, I know our congressional delegation would like to hear me say their maps. We do have to get our congressional maps done. We have not done that yet. And so I do think that's probably the top priority for our veto session, but there may be some other things that come forth as well.
No hints on what those other things might be?
Well, we've been so tied up with energy, we just don't know yet. It's still a work in progress.
I have a prediction. The budget's going to come into play at some point in time. Other COVID measures. Thank you very much. Once again, that is Illinois House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch. We appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And now, Paris, we toss it back to you.